Good morning. Buenos dias. I wonder if it's Greta again, the first one. Good morning. Yep, I'm here. Feliz dia de domingo. I don't know why the light. H&D Abroad. Oh, this is the first time I see you on here. Welcome. JD, buenos dias. Yep, we're here. Beautiful Panama. It's looking cloudy. We have had some torrential rains, you hear me? And parts of the country are underwater. People have had all their belongings soaked. People have been displaced. We have the First Lady has arranged a lot of, we have like a manning center at a local park here for donations, and they're just taking things to the different communities. I mean, everything. You know, in Panama, I always talk about that. When you see the Panamanian style homes, they're like flat to the ground. There is no foundation. They're not raised. And I always say, if it rains, where does the water go? And indeed, the cascades, we have beautiful cascades, and I should have taken some pictures. The brown water is coming down. So it's like really sad. So I'm in the city, I'm in a high rise. That's where I'm staying. I am not, you know, all of you in Boquete, they had trees falling down, rivers overflowing. Oh my God. Say good morning, you guys, so I know who's here. Ingrid, greetings. Good to see you. Good morning, good morning. Hiya. How is everybody feeling this morning? You know, last night I watched a live. It was a replay from this woman. Maybe H&D, you were there. Tracy Collins. She had a live, and there were 4 of them. It was such a nice kumbaya coming together moment, you know, talking about what is next for women. And I really enjoy that. I don't usually watch, you know, all the Keisha, good morning. Sandra, Richard. Oh, Miss Sandra, buen dia. Are you here? Lou, good morning. Yeah, so they had a nice live, and I think it's so important for people to kind of get to a space where you can express what you're feeling. Sophie, can you say hello, Sophie? And Jade, I'm saying it. Buenos dias, bonjour. So I think there's been a lot of that going on this week after the momentous event of this past Tuesday. And you know, it's crazy. My last video I recorded on Monday. I always record on Mondays. Grand Rising, good morning. And oh, okay, Miss Sandra, I thought you were here. But it's good to have a forum, a way for you to express what you're feeling. That is part of the healing. Whatever, if you need healing, I know I need healing. I decided to, good morning, Joseph. I decided to fast for 2 days because I'm a habitual faster. Not only to maintain my weight, but I think it's a spiritual habit that I developed when I was growing up. I became a Christian when I was 16. And that is something that I find when you're dealing with something that you feel like it's not going to be resolved. I have had a lot of things come together after fasting. The longest I've fasted is 3 days, a water fast. I haven't done longer than that. Even though they have some guys, you go to a retreat and you're fasting for 40 days, I can't do that. And of course, as you get older, you got to be careful. You don't deprive yourself, you could get yourself in trouble. So nobody should start fasting until you talk to your physician when it's okay. If you're diabetic, definitely don't do it. But I'm a nurse practitioner, I doctor myself, so. But I decided to, good morning. What age did you get baptized? I was 16. Our assisting Edgar. I see a bunch of new names today. Buenos dias, bonjour. My dad is 33 years old. Okay. I'm watching you, Joseph. Don't mess up, because if anybody's gonna come in this chat today and start acting the fool, I'm gonna block you, okay? This is not the place. This is my therapy. We come here, cooking is my therapy, and we've been doing these lives, and we've been doing some mental health kumbayas, you know, addressing different topics. So that's what we want to do. Big Mama, that's okay, I'll take it. What are we cooking today? Okay. So I wanted to say that it's okay to have a forum where you can express what you're feeling, because that is part of the healing. So I fasted. I said I would fast Monday and Tuesday, which I did. And it wasn't necessarily because I wanted to change the outcome, or I was hoping, but it was just to prepare myself for what might be. And I tell you, it really helped. And I went on a walk in the morning, and I went on a walk in the afternoon. This is part of the self-care, right? Protecting yourself. All right. So what we're going to cook today, I am making my version of Thai curry fish soup. You know, I always keep in mind that a lot of you are watching me are in the US, where it's getting a little cooler. So whatever I cook, it's keeping that in mind. So I was going to I got my fish. This is corvina. So I had some left from last time I went to the fish market. And we're going to have, what do they call that? Nuggets. I don't think I want to touch that fish again. I just wash my hands. So we're going to have fish nuggets. And you see how thick these are? So they're perfect for fish, right? They're not going to disappear in the soup. And then I bought a pound of medium-sized shrimp that've been cleaned and deveined. You know what we're going to do, Ingrid? When I finish cooking, because it's not going to take long, we're going to take just questions, okay? So hang in there and write down your question. And one follower had a question about health insurance for people over 65. I'm 66, so I certainly can talk about that. All right, so we're going to do that Thai curry fish soup, okay? My version. It's not going to be classic Thai curry, but it is going to have coconut milk, and it's going to have chili, and it's gonna have potatoes. I have carrots and celery and some peppers, leftovers. I'm going on a trip on Tuesday, and I'm trying to clean my fridge of whatever I'm not using, okay? So I forgot to get the bread. I was gonna get a loaf of bread and do my herb oil and do some toasted bread on the side, but I forgot. So I'm going to cook a little bit of white rice so that the water's already boiling. I did my mise en place today. I got things ready so we don't spend a lot of time here. And I have some rice that I have already washed. So I'm going to cook a little bit of white rice, just enough to put on a ramekin on the side of the fish soup. And the soup is not going to take long because it's just fish. So what I want to do first, I'm going to season the fish, because, you know, fish, as I said, does not need to be, you don't have to season it, nor do you need to marinate fish, okay? Because if you do, it's going to start cooking. So I'm going to do the shrimp first. Yeah, it's been a week, right? I mean, I heard all kinds of commentaries, and I think for your peace of mind, try to stay away, okay? Too much chatter online. This is why it happened. She did that. She didn't do that. I mean, come on. But there has been some really good commentaries. There was this girl, I think she's Nigerian. I don't follow her on YouTube, so I don't know. I just stumbled across her. And she really had a really nice expose as to what happened, why we got the result that we got. And I'm like, I keep telling y'all, the serenity prayer should become your best friend, because you have to get to a point where you're like, what can I do? Is there anything I can do? If there is, I do it. If there isn't, I let it go. And it takes maturity to do that. And unfortunately, some people feel like if you say, okay, I can't do anything about this, let me just move on with my life, and they call you a sellout or you giving up, blah, blah, blah. You know what I say? At my age, if I choose to say, okay, I'm done, I'm done. My last video, like I said on Monday, I did a video about 15 reasons why seniors, because you know, my group is single women retiring abroad. That means most of my followers, the people who are really in my family, are single ladies who are older. You could be in your 50s. If you can retire in the 50s, more power to you, right? But you want to come to Panama and you're looking for a community, that's what we offer. And that's my vision, because I want to stay here and die here. Therefore, I am trying to create a community where we have services in place so that when we get old, we don't have to be shipped back, right? So she was a young lady. She was in her 30s. And I mean, the sense of, how would I say that? Because she said she had been warning about that particular ending or results, but that nobody believed her and people did not think that she was right. So she's like, I'm done. I don't know what else I could have done. And I'm like, no, that's not the right attitude to have about, you know, I'm putting a lemon, I put garlic, oh, I need pepper. So she had a really, really nice expose. I really liked her, you know, how she looked at the whole thing. I think what we need to remember is that when you have something major happen in your life, whatever it is, what I'm telling you as a psychiatric nurse practitioner is that you have to allow yourself to grieve, okay? A lot of times people talk about, you have the coaches, I'm sure they'll tell you that. You unearthing some things that are painful, but it's like you want to, okay, I'm putting some olive oil in my pan. I'm using this pan because I'm going to use it to do the soup because it cooks faster and it's aluminum. And I kind of like the aluminum. Okay, there we go. So you guys can see what I'm doing. Right. So you have to allow yourself time to grieve, okay? Because when you go through something and you don't address it, you never see, okay, the how, why it happened, what can I learn from it? You are not gonna come out stronger, right? So it's okay, it's good to talk about how you're feeling about the whole thing. That's different from saying, oh, they didn't listen to me, I told them, and you're becoming contentious, and that's not what I'm talking about. That's not grieving. Grieving says, oh my gosh, I am so sad about this outcome. Oh, this is awful. You know, you've heard about the stages of grief, right? Denial, disbelief, and then you get to anger. It's okay. Righteous anger is okay as long as you don't go hurt somebody else. And then you get to bargaining. Bargaining is like, well, maybe if I do this, oh, let me do this instead. Maybe I can prevent that from happening. If it's something you can, you know, with your faith, you could say, well, God, If I become, I go to church, I pay my tithe, will you not send that, allow this to happen to me kind of thing? That's the bargaining, right? And then you get to a point of acceptance. And if you study grief, everybody goes through grief at their own pace, right? You can go through the different stages at your own pace, right? So let's say the denial. Now, if you stay in denial for a year or two, that's not good. You're going to need, somebody to help you move to the stage, because you have to move to the stages to get to the point of acceptance, which is the last stage. All right, my rice is getting there, even though, my God, it looks like a lot. I didn't want that much. All right, so we're gonna lower the heat, put it on 3, and we're good. Yeah, so you don't want to get to that point where you're stuck in one stage. And I remember when I did hospice care, it was like after somebody dies, in hospice, we even continue with the family for about a year after that, because once you lose someone, you need the grief counseling for yourself to move to the different steps, right? So if you have a family or somebody who is stuck in one stage of the grief process, you got to help them along, because it's not healthy. So for us to sit here and, talk about what happened, how we feel about it, that is perfectly fine. It's healthy, okay? So please don't call people whiners and start labeling people just because they're saying, oh, I'm so upset. It's okay. It's okay. So we can spend a little time today talking about how we're feeling. I know everybody knows how they're feeling, but just to be in a safe space to say, it's okay. You can be upset. You can be disappointed. Just be in tune with yourself, with what you're feeling, and don't say, oh, like I heard people say, well, that doesn't affect me. I don't care. I don't believe that. Don't quit lying to yourself, okay? And again, once you go through the anger, the denial, the bargaining to get to the acceptance stage, I think that's what my fast helped me, because I remember how I felt 8 years ago. 8 years ago? Yeah, I felt totally different. The morning after, it was like total disbelief. I felt like, you got hit upside the head. But this year, I did not watch the news. I did not watch the results all night long. I went for a long walk in the morning. I went for a long walk in the afternoon. I had my earpods. I was listening to Spanish classes, and I did not. And then I went to the Mercado de Mariscos, and I sat there. I had soup. I said, I will not be glued to the television. Self-care. So the next morning I woke up. I got my phone next to on the nightstand. And when I saw that, I did not have like palpitations. No, it was like, okay, that's what happened. That's what happened. So I think that's what the fast did for me. It prepared my heart so that I did not feel that sense of hopelessness and anger and deception and because you know what? Let's see, the only person who was there for me when my parents and friends died was Jesus. Everyone else walked away. Oh, I am so sorry to hear that. That is so sad. Oh my God. But at least you had him, right? I'm sorry. And I don't know how you don't grieve with someone when they're grieving. Because all you have to do is hold their hands or just show a little kindness. But you know, people are so wrapped up with themselves that they forget that we all need human connection. We all do. Ah, you know, this spot doesn't make my shrimp look all nice and pretty pink, but that's okay, because I know I don't want them to overcook. Remember what I said about shrimp? You don't have to overcook shrimp. As soon as it turns pink, you take it out. Now, I remember, I think we'll do gumbo one day. And of course, it's going to have to be seafood gumbo because I'm not going to put chicken and sausage and stuff like that in my gumbo. But when I see someone cook gumbo, and they put the shrimp in there just with the chicken and the sausage, and that shrimp cooks and cooks and cooks and cooks, guys, it turns to rubber. Don't do that. If you're cooking shrimp, as soon as it turns pink, you take it out, okay? It does not need, maybe like 2 minutes on each side. That's all shrimp needs. Hi, Auntie. Looks delicious. We haven't done anything yet. We're just cooking the fish. All right, come on. Yeah. Yeah, so it's okay, you guys. So what I wanted to say also is that getting to the stage of acceptance doesn't mean you throw in the towel, okay? It doesn't mean, it means you're gonna regroup. You're gonna reshape your thinking, your approach. So I heard someone say today that, you know, especially if you're a brown person of color and you know your history, you know what our forefathers went through for us to be here, right? So I think it would be disingenuous of us to just say, oh, okay, I'm done. This morning I was thinking, and you could say, are you doing devotion or meditation? I don't believe in all that, the meditation kind of thing. Yeah, you should be a thinking person. You should. That's why I say sometimes we get so busy with life. We never take time. We never sit still enough to just think through things. And that's why people react so much. They just speak without thinking. They say whatever they want to use, that comes into their head. The way you are designed as a human being, you have filters. You should think before you speak. And I believe this is one of the things that we have lost, you know, at home. All right, so I have the fish. I'm going to season it a little bit. We do not take the time to think before we speak. We just shout out the mouth, say whatever we want to anybody without thinking of the consequences. And you've read that before. Once you utter some words, you can take them back. So I remember even as a young mom, you know, I got to be in my 30s because I got married, I was like 22, green. But in my 30s, when the kids did something, I got to a point I used to say, go to your room. Go to your room was a time to allow me and them to cool off. Because I realized early that if you don't, you might say something you regret. And you've heard them say, right? Once you utter the words, this is time. You know I'm Caribbean, we always have time around the house. So once you utter some words, you can take them back. That's why when I see somebody in a position of power, you know, say the most vile things, and then someone else will say, well, you know how he is. He doesn't mean what he says. Well, I don't know that. How do I know he doesn't mean what he says? But I know what he says does to the person on the receiving end, or should. It doesn't affect everybody the same way, right? So I am down to like 1 lemon, so I'm trying to save some of that. So I'm using a little bit of vinegar with my fish this time. You can do that. And the reason you don't marinate your fish is that if you start putting lemon juice, you start cooking the fish. That's the principle in ceviche. See? All right. All righty. Let's put our fish in. Now those are thick, so they're gonna take a little bit longer to cook. I'm gonna let them brown on one side, turn them over, and then I'm gonna cover them so it could cook a little faster. In the Thai curry, the traditional soup, you could have some noodles. I don't have noodles. I have intentionally stayed away from the noodles lately because I feel like I could start eating rice and noodles and stuff, and then my face swells up because I'm very sensitive to carbs. So sometimes I engage, I indulge, but then I have to pull back so I can reset. So we're gonna have a few minutes because this fish is gonna take a little bit to cook. Everyone else walked away from me. I'm sorry. The messenger, Mohammed, hi auntie, hello. Lai Russian, looks delicious. Well, I am good, Jason. Thank you. How are you? Now, if anybody has questions about Panama, this is a good time for you to ask, because I'm going to do another video this week. A lot of people are doing they're doing lives, not just to process the election results, how they feel, but also offer solutions. And it's not only minorities who are looking at options. Everybody, the reaction is universal, okay? So you're not alone if you're looking at options. Well, I've been here almost 2 years, so I'm not running away from anything. I was running away from not growing old in the US. Let's get this straight. That was my main motivation, because having been in the healthcare system, I do not want to end up in a nursing home. They would have to take me there. They would have to drag me and tie me to take me there. So I am trying my best to create a space here where if you're an older woman, you know, whether you have family or not, because, you know, your kids have their own lives, they're busy. And I particularly feel like I don't want that responsibility to fall to them to say, oh, what do we do with mom? She needs help with bathing and she can't move. I'm trying to create the environment here in Panama for us. I'm doing fine, Joshua, very nice. Good food, looks really good. Well, I haven't done anything yet. So that was my reason for coming to Panama. So now, well, on Single Women Retiring Abroad, my regular channel, I help women get started with the process of moving abroad. But I think this week, my video that I did last week about 15 reasons why seniors are flocking to Panama is doing okay. You know, Mr. Algorithm. I think Mr. Algorithm is looking at this video saying, well, maybe, because he's got 3,000 views so far. I don't know if that's going to continue or not, but that was in 2 days. Sometimes I look at these, I look at some creators and they put a video out and within 24 hours, they have like hundreds of thousands of views. And I'm like, wow, I'm salivating, but I'm not there yet. You know, I've only been doing this since March, you know, seriously, since March. So I think I'm doing okay for an old lady, right? So I'm turning the fish, the pieces over. Now I want them to be cooked, but not overcooked, right? Because I'm gonna put them back in the soup. And one other reason that I'm using this pot also is that I want all the goodness. You know, when you cook, whether you're cooking with fish or meat, that thing that's at the bottom of the pan is gold. So it's gonna help your flavor. So that's what I'm doing here. So I'm gonna cover it so the steam is gonna help speed up the cooking process. Yeah, so I think that video last week is doing okay, you know, and I'm gonna do another video because I've seen so many videos of this lady had a live this week that lasted 3 hours. I'm like, whew, that's a long time. I don't think I want to sit somewhere. So I'm going to give some concrete steps for those who want to consider Panama, which I've always done that. So this is not just because of the election. My mom and I need a change to a better way of life. God bless you. Well, you know, it takes courage to make a decision. It takes courage to go off on your own. It takes courage to leave what's familiar to you, family, friends, your kids, your church, your friends. And that's why I tell people, when you're considering moving abroad, you know, you're gonna hear me say that a lot. Go inward, find out what your motivation is. Are you mentally prepared to move abroad? It's not a walk in the park. You're gonna go through so many emotions. You know, as a nurse, working with older people, when I was in the long-term care facilities, one of the things that really tugged at my heart is when I see a family, you know, like an older children decide to take their parents from their home and move them into assisted living or a nursing home setting. That was one of the most heart-wrenching things you could see. For someone to, maybe they were living in a 2-story house, 4-bedroom, 3 baths, right? And now you're gonna squeeze them into, like, if they have the money to go to assisted living, and not many people do, put them in like a 5x9, you know, small little apartment where they have like a kitchenette and a little bed. It was so hard for these people. So I was always nervous and taking time to talk to them. How you feeling? I know it's really hard. If you want to cry, it's okay. Hold their hands. Because you're a human being. You're coming from a whole different environment. And you're going to squeeze them to this. And sometimes they end up having to share a room with someone. That would be really hard for me because I'm such an introvert into myself. So if you decide to move, whether it's now or you were thinking about it before, realize that you got to get your mind straight. That's why it's not, I don't recommend that you just jump and do anything quick, right? Some people, there was a lady here last week, she's like, yeah, I jumped the gun and I came, she had an emergency and all that kind of stuff. Don't do that to yourself, right? And you have to also understand, how do I manage change? Have you had some changes in your life? Have you gone to a divorce? Have you moved from one state to another? Have you moved abroad before? If you've done those things, hopefully you've accumulated some skills, because you're going to need some of those skills. Either to be able to do things on your own, or to be able to find information. You know that's a skill too, to be able to know who, what, where. Who to ask, where to go, knowing what you don't know, and how to access information. Last year when I got robbed here in Panama, I didn't know anybody who had gotten robbed before. I had to figure it on my own. I had to go to the police station. They stole my wallet. I had like $20. After I paid for lunch, I think I had like $8 left to my name, no credit card, no ID, nada, right? So I had to find my way, figure out how to get to the police station. And in Spanish, give an account of exactly what happened, because they ended up using 4 of my credit cards and making charges. And the lady was like, I need to know what time they did this. I mean, it was detailed. And that was a 3-day process. But I had to do it. So you have to have the skill, the ability to say, okay, I can maneuver on my own. That's why I say it's not for everybody, right? So if you are thinking of coming anywhere, going to Panama, Indonesia, Ecuador, there is a great community there. So I'm sure it gets a little easier, right? Was it a black guy? What is that? Can I do some fried chicken? I'm so sorry. I don't eat chicken anymore, so no fried food in my kitchen. I am whole food plant-based. I'm eating fish, no fried chicken, sorry. But I'm sure you're gonna find some recipes online. I used to make good fried chicken, just not now. In my later years, this is not something that I want to put in my stomach. I tried to eat some chicken recently and it didn't sit real well. So my stomach said, you've given that up. Don't start back. Sorry. Not sorry. So I try to do things that I can eat and that is good for you guys, okay? All right. But yeah, if you've been traveling, you've developed some skills of how you travel, safety in travel, how to keep yourself safe in a new environment. I remember landing in Kigali, Rwanda at 2 o'clock in the morning at the airport. The airport was basically closed. I couldn't get a SIM card. I didn't have a way to call out, and I made it work. So that level of self-sufficiency or being able to tap into resources is something that you need as you consider moving abroad. Whether you want to move abroad now or you want to move abroad later, those are skills that you need, okay? So a lot of people are, feeling some kind of way about everything that's going down. I think what I want to do with you guys today is just allow you to get in your feeling. It's okay. Let's just chat. You're angry, you're upset, yes. But what I don't want you to get to is that hopelessness phase, right? Because it's like what I always say, you're going to hear me say a lot, guard your heart. Guard your heart means if you start feeling you going down a certain train of thought, you have to have the wherewithal to say, no, I'm not going down that rabbit hole, because nothing good is going to come out of it. But when you just get into it, you're like, oh yeah, come in, you put all that stuff, you listen to all the negativity and all the stuff, and you say, feed me, feed me, feed me. You're doing it to yourself, sis, sir. Okay? Guarding your heart means, no, I'm not going down that rabbit hole. No, I'm not going to engage in those thoughts. No, I'm not watching that program. Nope, I'm not going to subscribe to that channel. I'm not going to that chat. You know what I'm saying? You got to do that. I can do it for you. You have to safeguard your mindset. And that's where it starts. Okay? I know. I feel like I'm preaching to the choir. But all right, so I'm going to take, let's see. Yep, that's good. So we're going to take the fish. We're going to take the fish out. And we're going to start on our broth. Ooh. I don't think I use all that fish. I'm going to leave some for something else. That's a lot. All right. Ooh, that's beautiful. All right, let's get back here. Yes, yes, yes. You know what I always think about is when I see people who are always happy, happy, happy. They're never down. Everything is always peachy. Danger zone. Oh, did I tell you guys that I also cooked a little bit of chickpeas this morning? So we're gonna put all that in our soup. It's gonna be a hearty soup. And those of you, you may like the white beans. What do they call that? Cannellini beans. But it does something to my tummy, so I don't eat those beans. All right. So now we're going to start on our broth. Okay. So I have some onions that I got ready to chop. You always start with your onions and your garlic, okay? That's how you build flavor. And because I decided to use this pot, I already have all that good, I don't know what we call that, at the bottom of the pan. I know when they cook rice here in Panama, it's like at home, the crust at the bottom, some people cook it and then they flip it, or they have the shape of the pan and then they put other stuff in it, almost like you're doing a taco. I don't know. Mindset, yes ma'am. But I'm also wanting you to know that it's okay for you to feel all these emotions right now. And don't try to run away from them, okay? Don't say, oh, let me go on a trip. Oh, let me go shopping. That's how you spend money you don't have. Don't run from the emotion. Embrace it. And one other thing I used to teach people, I used to say, if you're feeling pain, let's say you had a friend that was fresh garlic. You had a friend whom you trust, they betrayed you. I mean, you get angry and hurt. Get inside the pain. Allow yourself to feel the emotion of betrayal, of anger. That's how you move. Everything that happens in your life, understand. Take the grief process. Go Google the grief process and look at the different stages and allow yourself to feel those emotions. You are not a tree. You heard me say that. You're a human being with emotions. All right. Another thing that I have here, I had cut some, I had some celery. Everything is being washed. So I did what we call my mise en place. I know there's a chef there, he knows what I'm talking about. You always try to get your stuff, everything you need to be cutting, that's a prep. I used to be a prep chef, so we do that a lot. So I'm gonna put that, and then you put stuff that is going to cook about the same time together. So I'm gonna put the celery and the carrots. The carrots are not gonna take longer to cook, so I'm not gonna put a lot of broth because I don't want anything to overcook. And then I found some cute tomatoes. Yes, tomatoes. Potatoes. So they have some cute potatoes here. Not necessarily russet, but they're like this size and they're pretty yellow, not like the fingerling potatoes, they're round. And they also have some little ones like that. I like those. But to cook them, it takes a long time. So those are good for putting them, roasting them. You put all that, that herb oil and then put them in the oven. Ooh. Last night, I had a small bag of vacuum-packed yuca. So I cut them in like fries. And then I seasoned them, and then I dusted them with some of my Jamaican curry. And then I put them in the oven. That was dinner. That was delicious. So today I'm not going to use the Jamaican curry because it tends to be hot. I'm going to use this curry. It's not so hot. This is a local brand, La Doña. I see that a lot here in Panama. So I'm going to use that instead, okay? So here we go. Oh, and listen, I have a whole habanero. You know me, I use these whole. Don't break it. I just want all the flavor from the skin. So I put that in there. And the peppers I'm going to put at the end because I don't want them to be overcooked. Let's see. All right, let's season this. Always season in layers. I tend to go a little crazy with the pepper just because I love pepper. Sorry. But if you don't like pepper, you don't have to put a lot in your food. Just don't buy that 100-year-old pepper in those little cans. Those little things. Paprika. I always use paprika. Slap your mama. I'm supposed to go to the States in January, so I think I'm going to have a suitcase full of spices. And I got to bring my knives. I miss my knives. Oh my God. I left everything at home when I went to South Africa. Okay. That, I think I'll put the potatoes later. So right now, we're going to do our broth. So the water I cooked the chickpeas in, I'm going to use. Actually, I should have put that, I should have put the curry first, but that's okay. I'll put it here. Woo. It's always best to put the curry when it's dry. Okay. Impatient. All right. Oh, it smells so good. All right. And then I had some veggie broth that was frozen, so I put it in a little bit of hot water. More veggie broth. You know, I bought some deep containers, but every time somebody comes over, I send them home with one, and then I don't have any left. All right. You know what I'm going to put in here? This is me. This is the rest of my marinara. I'm going to add a little bit of the marinara. Homemade marinara. And I do have a video that shows you how to do that. And we're going to add our coconut milk. 2/3 of a cup, maybe. Okay, that's good. I like the color. All right, so we're gonna cover it, let it come to a boil. And in the meantime, I'm gonna get the bouquet garni. Remember bouquet garni? You mix the Prince of Michael. Good morning, Maggie. Hola. Oh, Modiwa. Hola, mi amiga. I know this is going to be good. Oh, I know. You love fish? Look at that, sis. Look what I have. Okay. So let's cover this. Let it come to a boil. Let's check our rice. It's probably done. Fluffy rice. Modiwa, you're going to have to come and get some of that food, okay? All right, so our rice is done. Of course. Yeah. So, A bouquet garni is when you want to up your flavor when you're cooking stew, or if you do rice and peas, or anything that's like a mix, or yeah, soups, rice and peas, any kind of like beans stew, or anything like that, chilies. All right. So I have rosemary, but I'm not gonna use that. I'm gonna use that for my oil. I need to do my braids tonight. But I have cilantro. If you have culantro, you could do that as well. In Panama, we use a lot more culantro than we do cilantro. The culantros are like flat leaves. They're very pungent. And that's what they use in Modiwa, in your sancocho. Not cilantro. That would be a major faux pas. I made sancocho the other day, and one of the Panamanian, I have them keeping me straight in the comment. He said, "Now, well, that looks nice, but the original sancocho is chicken, ñame, which is a type of yam, and culantro." He says, "Nada más." Oh, gracias. I'm a student, I'm here. They know their country, they know their history and their standards. So he cut me straight, because in Panama, certain things are regional on how they cook things. So this is, I'm gonna wrap it, but I think I'm gonna put 1 or 2 bay leaves, and like I say, in your kitchen, you should have good scissors, for your chicken. I don't use chicken now, but you need to have twirl always. You can wrap chicken legs, or that it's gonna be turkey time. You can wrap the turkey tight and let it look good when you put it on your table. And I am going to get a couple of bay leaves. So if you think about it, I have the dish that I cooked the fish in. I have fresh garlic, fresh onion. I have a Scotch bonnet pepper or habanero pepper whole for taste. I use the water that I cooked the chickpeas in, and then I have veggie broth. Of course it's gonna taste good. That's what I'm saying. Think and spend the time building your flavor. But for me, if food is bland, I'm sorry, I can't eat it, okay? It goes against my values. All righty. So we're gonna throw that in there. So remember that a bouquet means a bunch. Garni means garnish. Even though you're not garnishing anything, you're just using it to build flavor. So when you throw that in your dish, it releases, it releases all the flavor, and then you take it out at the end. You don't serve it with that. All right. Now this is your time, guys, to ask me a question. You should open a restaurant here in Panama. I thought about it. I had my cafe in Florida, but let me tell you, it was so much work. I worked like a dog. I don't think I want to do that now. Yeah, I will make a seafood gumbo. It's easy. You just have to, your name is JD, okay. Gumbo is all about doing the roux. If you do the roux correctly, and then you pay attention to your flavors, yeah, that's good. And once you do the roux, it's just a matter of adding, your fish, your shrimp, and a few veggies you put in there, and get the consistency. I've seen some gumbo so light and watery, like sancocho. I'm like, you go to New Orleans and you watch it. You watch them how they make it. And red beans and rice, we make some red beans and rice, but not the way they do it. We're Caribbean. We cook our rice differently, okay? So this is the time for you to ask me a question. You remind me of my grandma. Oh, see, I take that as a compliment because grandmas know how to cook, how to throw down. But you know, in terms of restaurant, Samuel, I think about there is this girl in Brooklyn. What is her name? Who's always on Instagram? I don't know why I don't see her anymore on my feed, but Nadej. Yeah, she has different restaurants. She does a lot of catering. And then one day she posted in her on her page, where should I open another restaurant? And then people were like, New Jersey, Boston, because she's in Brooklyn. And then I said, Panama. I think people would, okay, Swanson, I'm going to block you. Don't bring the Palestine or Israel here. So I said Panama, and I didn't hear anything back from her. But I think there is a spot here in the city next to Mercado. What do you mean why? This is a cooking show. We're not talking about Palestine or Israel, okay? Leave that off the chat or I'm going to block you. Yes, so there is a place inside San Felipe. You know, San Felipe is a place where you can buy veggies on one side and they have the meat. They have the meat on the other side. But inside the meat section, they have an eatery, you know, like multiple fondas. People don't know where it is. And you go in there and they have like little fondas, one next to each other. And they have a big old like hall type setting with tables people could eat. And I saw one that was empty. And I was like, And I think they only open till like 2 or 3 o'clock, which is, you know, the time that I would want to do it. I'm like, I'd be interested in opening a little bit of a stall there just to do American style cafe like I used to do it, you know, wraps and sandwiches and especially breakfast, because breakfast here in Panama, it's fried chicken and rice and the same thing you eat for lunch, they eat for breakfast, except they add the corn tortillas, which they eat at any time too. And I had the corn empanadas. That one was good. Oh my God. But everything is fried, deep fried. And that hojaldra, that fried bread. Oh my God, that is so good with coffee. And they have eggs sometimes, but when you go to little fondas, you don't see a lot of that. It's just heavy stuff for breakfast. But, you know, do omelets and pancakes and one of the fondas here, Embotete, which is the one that I like to go to Sunday morning. When you go there, I mean, it's a spread. They have all kinds of eggs. They do have pancakes, and they even have avena, which is a type of oatmeal. So yeah, so I don't know, but you know, I'm jubilada. I can't really work. But I know they have ways of, you'd have to get a permit and all kinds of stuff. Come on, Henry. No, I'm single. Single women retiring abroad, remember? Opening the stall in Panama sounds like a great idea. You would be great, Maggie. Oh, thank you. Keisha, I'm thinking about it. I don't know how, because you are not supposed to take jobs away from Panamanians, right? So if I were to do it, I'd have to be like the overseer and not cooking. And I don't know if I could do that. Because I remember at my restaurants, I would train people. You know, I remember this young man, he's like, chef, show me. So I showed him how to do we did the home fries and the hash browns, you know, from scratch. And I had different wraps. All kinds of smoothies. I still have my recipes in my computer, by the way. And then I said, okay, are you good? And then he said, good, chef, I'm good. I said, okay, I'm going to go in there. If you need help, just let me know. 10 minutes later, I heard, chef, we need you. I'm like, come on. So it's like you end up having to do the work because, you know, your standards are so high. I don't know. Oh my God, this thing, I was thinking this this burner. Ooh. That's why I do not. You know, that's why a lot of people like gas, because, you know, this electric stove really just get on your nerves. It's like, come on. But yep, you guys have any questions about Panama? How about cooking class for SWRA as a group? Yes, somebody mentioned that. And I'm going on a trip next week, and I think December we're going to get together and decide some of the activities we're going to be doing for the year. And cooking definitely is one of them. Spanish class is online. I promised them I would try to do that, but I'm still looking for a manual, a book that everybody can follow. We still have our hearty, you know, about a different thing, volunteering opportunities. One of the sisters, I think she's in the chat right now, she talked about some financial education, because, you know, even though we, you know, we're retired, you know, if you're in your 60s, 70s, you might still live another 20, 35 years. And, you know, we want to improve our standard of living. And yes, as we get older, we're still going to need more services. So you need money. You're going to need money. And we run to Panama because we're able to rent a little apartment here on our Social Security. But still, you have to develop, have a nest egg. And come on, baby. Come on, come on, come on. Wow. And I thought this was going to boil faster. I was wrong. So this is your time to ask for some question. Okay, they have conversations going on. But anyway, if anybody wants to come, you're from the UK. Hola, Henry. Coming to Panama, I had been coming to Panama since 2019, and I moved here in 2023. So that was 4 years. And that's what I said about, you got to prepare yourself. So if you feel some kind of way about the election and then you want to escape fast, I'm afraid you may make some mistakes. You know, you may not have the time you needed to do the research and check out other places, not just Panama. You know, I went to Africa. So you need to look at least 2 places and compare based on your likes and dislikes and your want. And again, I was watching this girl who had lived abroad for like 20 years, and she was telling people how to move abroad. And she said the same thing. She said, you need to know yourself. And, you know, I say you need to I do an assessment. There is a self-assessment on my page that says, are you this, are you this, are you that? Because that's an assessment to see how you move in the world. You know, your expectations, how you handle difficulties. If somebody were to throw you in an environment where you don't have anybody, you don't know anybody, how would you survive? What would you do? Those are things that you need to know and have. So do a comparison, do your list of must-have. You know, some people know, I couldn't do the city, it's too hot. It's a good thing to know, right? Then you probably don't want to move to Indonesia or some place, you know, that's tropical, because it's going to be hot. I watched this couple last night. I think they did 15 countries, you know, if you're considering moving to right now that you could. And Panama was on the list, of course. You're going to have Spain, you're going to have Portugal, of course, Thailand's on there. Ecuador, Mexico, Costa Rica, and then there were some different ones like Albania. I mean, I wouldn't be moving there. And of course, he's a gringo, so yeah. And then Uruguay, they talk about Uruguay, and apparently it's a 6-hour flight from Miami to Uruguay. I did not know it was that far down. But I went to Chile, and Chile is 8 hours from Miami to Chile. So that makes sense. And So she did the comparison and about if they have a retirement visa. Panama does have a retirement visa. It is very attractive. You only need to show steady income of $1,000 a month. You know, so if you have a social security of $1,500 a month, yeah, you could make it here, but it's not going to be in the city. You may have to go to a smaller community in the interior. So those are the kind of things that you need to join the Facebook groups, pose your questions, read the comments. That alone is going to take you a bit of time. And also, can you tell me how I can get a data phone for my phone? I need to catch Uber and my Tigo plan does not seem to work. Oh no, I have Massmobile, doesn't take credit card. The way I set it up is through your bank. You pay your bill through your bank, because once you set it up in your online banking, your bill comes up. Once you click on Massmobile or Tigo, your bill comes up. Yeah. Okay, they're holding things for review. Yeah, you have to have a local bank. Yes. And I'm gonna do a short video about our little banking escapade this week. It's a process, sis. It's not easy. And that's why, what are they talking about? Deep south where? Okay, Swanson. Okay. This guy. What are you two? I know, I'm gonna remove them. Let them keep going. They're gonna be blocked. We need to stop this. Yeah, so if you a couple, you only need an extra $250 in monthly income for a couple. Now, that doesn't mean if you only have $1,250 in income, you can make it in Panama. That's not what it says. That's what you need to get your retirement visa, the pensionado visa. But you're going to need more money to live here in Panama, okay? Now, the city, people like us who are older and like the convenience of not having to worry about water coming into your apartment, having electric, what do they call that? When they just power outages, right? And sometimes, depending on where you live, the internet might be and we just don't want to deal with all that. So we stay in the city where it's a little bit more, things seems to work a little bit better. Even though Tigo sometimes goes off. Okay. I'm sorry, you guys. Okay. Well, I will block you if you don't quit talking nonsense on here. This is a cooking show. We're talking about Panama, okay? Don't come here acting the fool. I am sorry. Yes, there is Starlink in the Chiriquí area. I don't know if they're here in Panama City, but I would not be signing up for that. But apparently Starlink works really well. But I've been okay with oh, it looks so good. Okay, let's go back to cooking. Okay. All right, let me taste. Don't you love the color? Look at that. That's exactly what I wanted. That's the curry and the coconut milk. Yum. Okay. All right. So let's put the potatoes in. And you know, once the potatoes are cooked, I am going to consider adding a little bit of cornstarch because I want the broth to be a little bit on the thicker side. This is just taking, I need to get me a really shallow pot that will cook a lot faster. This is taking way too long. And then again, we're going to be adding our peppers. I'm going to put the peppers in now. The chickpeas I'm going to put way at the end because they're already cooked. All right, let's cover that again. All right, let's get our slurry started. Yeah. So Starlink is a good option, but since I've been here, I've had Tigo for my internet and my cable. I have Maxmoville for my cell phone. But this week we went to open a bank account and boy, oh boy, was that a run around. Oh my gosh. Yes. So when I say bring your patience, I mean it, you guys. I really, really mean it because, I mean, I had my phone because I knew what to expect, but I think my sister was a little bit stressed out. And I said, well, and what I kept saying is, welcome to Panama, welcome to Panama. You know, I have the video that I did that I called 9 Things You Might Not Like About Panama. And, you know, I don't know if this is to make it. Oh, maybe that's the 10. Okay. Because 9 is the highest number. Maybe the 10 would make it move a little faster. Yeah. So that's all you need. $1,000 for one person, $1,250 for a couple, and but in the city, you might get an apartment depending on the location. Remember, location. That still holds true here in Panama. Thank you. $800 to maybe $1,200 in the city, depending on the neighborhood, a month. When you sign a lease, most owners, a lot of the apartments are owned by individuals who may be here or maybe expats living somewhere else. They're investors, right? And they don't like to do 6-month leases. They prefer to do a 1-year lease. If you need to do a 6-month, they're probably going to up the rent a little bit, okay? If you can find someone to do it. And I tell my sisters, it's better to just hire a realtor because the time it takes you to research, I mean, I understand we're retired. We may have time on our hand, but I'd rather do something else. I'd rather go for a walk. I'd rather go to Mercado. I'd rather do something else than sitting there on Encuentra 24 and just looking at different apartments. You tell the realtor your budget and you say, this is what I want. I want city view, I want water view, I want walkability, whatever you want, you tell them. Because one video somebody did with 2 realtors, and I did not think they had MLS here, but they do, multiple listing service. So what you see on Encuentra, it's not the whole inventory, but the realtors know, because sometimes people have apartments they're not advertised. And I don't recommend anybody going to Craigslist to look for apartments, okay? Because remember, as you get older, you need to be wiser. And I know a certain person here says you can get them on Craigslist. Now, if you're outside the city, they say the best way to find an apartment if you're driving around. First of all, you wouldn't be driving, right? Unless somebody's driving you, unless you have a car. Most of us don't. And you see se vende or alquiler, meaning it's a rental, and you just take the number and you call. But do you speak Spanish? Can you ask what is it about the apartment? You see what I'm saying? Why not save yourself the frustration? Hire someone. You don't have to pay the realtor. You don't. The owner pays the fee. So I'm sorry, I don't understand the rationale in saying I want to do it myself. This is not the time where you want to do it alone, okay? So you do that. Here I was thinking that this soup wouldn't take long, but my pan is not helping. A lot of the owners will not assume, but they'll keep the electric in their names. Because think about it, if you rent it for a year and then you leave, then they have to go back to Naturgy, which is the company that provides the electricity. They have to keep changing accounts. And if you know what I've been telling you, every time you go in an office to do a transaction, it takes time. And sometimes it's not one time, you have to go multiple times to get to the bottom of what you want done. That's the way the system is here. So some of the owners keep the electric in their name. If it's 6 months, definitely leave it in their name. And you just, when they have the bill, they'll email it to you, and then you just transfer money from your account to your the owner's account. That's how you pay your rent here. There is no checking account, ripping, checking. There's no mail service. So everything is done online. When you set up your Tigo, your Starlink, or whatever online, when your bill comes, it comes in an email telling you this is your factura. That's what the bill is called. And then you go in there, you see you owe like $59. You go into your online banking, you check Tigo, and $59 shows up. They are linked. You know exactly what to pay, and you say pay it, boom, it's gone. So you pay your electric, your cable, your cell phone like that. And of course, you can order online through PriceSmart, Reba Smith, any of those stores. They deliver, Do It Center, Nove. Go online, find what you want, pay online. They may charge you $3 to deliver it to your building. Right? That's worth it to me. So that's how we do it here. So if you are on a very limited budget, definitely consider places like Chitre, Las Tablas, David, and all the little towns around those places. You're gonna find really affordable houses. Now remember what I just said in the beginning. If you rent a Panamanian style home, they're flat to the ground. When this rain comes, you might be flooded. All right? So if you're gonna be renting a house in the interior, maybe try to find something on a hill. Okay? And they've had a lot of little mini mudslides, streets that caved in and the ground could be unstable. You could do that. Or you could consider a place like Thailand, the Philippines. Now this was the marinade from the fish. I'm just gonna put it in here. Yeah, I'm not gonna just throw it away. And look at that. Now it's gonna, let me see, yes, I'm going to Conway and get a pot that is thin so I can do my soup. This is insane. Insane. Oh, it tastes so good, but it needs to cook some more. All right, I'm gonna put my my slurry in. So we will not do, oh, next week? Oh, I'm not gonna tell you guys. Next week's gonna be a surprise. All right, I'm taking the bouquet out. And the habanero pepper, it's done its job. So we're gonna let this cook for like 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna squeeze some lime juice. Oh, it's really good. I think I could put a little bit of adobo back in. It needs some acid. We'll do it at the end. So 5 minutes, and then I'll put the fish in, another 5 minutes, so we have 10 more minutes to go. Ask your questions, you guys. This is your time. It looks good, doesn't it? Hi, Maggie. Happy Sunday. Hola, Jess. Good to see you. I think your food is good. Well, thank you. I try to cook things that I can eat. So somebody asked me if I can do fried chicken. I'm sorry, I'm not frying anything in my kitchen. I only use extra virgin olive oil, and it's not very good for frying, so I'm not frying. I don't like coconut milk. I have coconut milk. I use it for my hair. I like coconut water, but I don't like to cook with coconut milk. Coconut oil, I should say oil. But I love coconut milk. I use it in my food, and I use it in my smoothies. You know, that's what I use for milk. But coconut milk is a little bit high in fat, even though the fat is good. Just like my nuts, I had to go back. I had to pull back. Whew. I can't believe that I never know what that beep is, so you guys don't ask me. This is an electric stove. It's a little too fancy for me. So yeah, that's how you set up your internet and stuff. You talk about where you live. In terms of shopping, someone asked me yesterday, I don't like the city, maybe because I don't want the heat, they don't want the hustle and bustle, they want the mountain and the cool air. You can't have all that, but understand that you either get a car. Some people share drivers, you know, you could say, okay, who do you use to take you around to go shopping? And you can hire a driver for the day. And they do that not just here. This lady in Indonesia, she says she does the same thing. So if you know you need to go to PriceSmart, or you want to go to Nove, you want to go to Weber Smith or Super 99, just arrange to do it in one day, and you can hire that driver and say, okay, I want to hire you for 4 hours. And then they may charge you $20 a day or $30 a day. It's still cheaper than you owning a car, having to maintain, buy insurance, and then driving in that crazy traffic. Okay? So if you live, even in the city, some ladies do that. They hire a driver for the day or half a day. But especially if you are in the interior, you want to hook up with the driver, somebody that somebody recommend. Don't just grab the Joe from, down the street that you don't know. Remember, you're an older woman, or even if you're not older, you got to be safe. I think when I came here one year, they talked about the 2 young ladies who disappeared in the mountains. They went hiking on their own. They found pieces of their bodies later on. Be smart. You don't go hiking on your own. You go as a group. If you're going to hire a driver, get recommendations. Somebody else has used. Okay? Because as an expat, you're still a prime target for somebody. Because you're bringing, they assume you have money, right? And you can get robbed. I hear of some home invasion somewhere in the interior. So be very careful, ladies. If you're going to rent a house, I would rent it like in a compound where, the owner is there and you're in the back, someplace like that. And you can have some kind of protection, somebody to watch over you. Ay. Personally, I feel if you're older, you should stay in the city. You know, you should stay in a high rise. We have 24 hours security. No one can come to my house unless I know they're coming. One day I was here, the bell rang. I didn't know anybody was coming, so I go to the door. We don't have the peephole. I wish we did, but we don't. And then I said, hello, can I help you? And then it was a man asking me about I'm like, no. One time a delivery person come and said, did you order this? I'm like, no. So I'm not opening the door to talk to you. I talk to you through the door. Because if I don't know you coming, there is no way in hell I'm going to open my door. Because even though I'm in Panama, this is just common sense. Security, your security is your responsibility. Like I know there's certain neighborhoods around here I'm not going to go through at night. If I'm at night, I Uber back here. Safety, safety. Now, I wish I had done that when I got robbed. But when I got robbed, it was my own fault. I was wearing a backpack. No. If I have a backpack, put it in the front. And in my wallet, I had all my credit cards and everything. No. You know what I'm saying? So you live and learn. So be smart, ladies. Okay? So get recommendations, get hooked up with groups, you know, SWRA or other groups. Listen, observe, watch. Okay? Uber will take you anywhere in the city. So, all right. Woo. I wish I could tell you how nice it smells. It's still a little watery. It's not even. Yum, yum. All right. I'm gonna squeeze some lemon juice. Woo. Nice. The potatoes are just perfect. So I'm gonna bring the fish back in and the shrimp. So, you know, if I'm eating like this, I cook my food. I know what's in it, right? So your food, your nutrition is your responsibility. One for me. All right, I think that's good. I think I'm going to do a little bit more slurry, but then we're good. Shrimp is good. See, you could do that. Cook the shrimp the way you see me cook it, and then do some salad and throw them in there. It smells so good here. Oh, there was a lady who asked me about health insurance. Okay, yeah. I don't want to miss that. Now, health insurance in Panama, I say it's a little bit convoluted, okay? It's not straightforward. The multinational companies are here. Cigna, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna, Kaiser Permanente, they are here. Because Panama is there are a lot of international companies who have their staff here. So of course, these plans cater to the international community. And even on Facebook, as you're scrolling, you're gonna see an ad for this company talked about health insurance for expats, right? And then there are some Panama insurance companies, okay? And they're very affordable. But they cater to a younger population, okay? So if you have one of those very Panamanian plans are a lot affordable than the international plan. That makes sense, right? So you could say you're a family of two, husband, wife, 2 kids. you may pay $150 a month, you know, for insurance. But once you hit your 60s, the benefits start changing. You can still get the international plans, okay, up to a certain age. But the older you are, the more expensive the plan. When I came to Panama, I wasn't, I mean, when I first started coming, that was before I had retired. And I wasn't, you know, I retired early, so I wasn't eligible to get Medicare. I wasn't 65 yet. And I was getting Aetna. I had an Aetna plan, a worldwide plan, because at that time, I thought I was going to live in Rwanda. And I think my plan, was it Cigna or Aetna, one of them. And the plan, my plan, it was a good plan. Preventative, hospital. They even had the flight to take you back home if you needed to be repatriated there. It was like $490 something. So that was cheap for one person, right? So once I got Medicare, I dropped it. But when I came to Panama, when I returned from South Africa last year, I had Medicare, but I was looking for a plan. How, you know, I don't want to go back to the state if I get sick, right? So I talked to an insurance broker, and he gave me a couple of plans, because once you hit 64, a lot of the plans either don't cover you, or if they do, they have stipulation for pre-existing condition. And my thing is, how do you expect someone to live to be 50, 60 and not have pre-existing conditions, which is what we dealt with in the US with Affordable Care Act, right? So they'll say, oh, we don't cover, or if we cover, we want you to wait 24 months before we would cover anything associated with this pre-existing condition, meaning high blood pressure. Excuse me, high blood pressure, you can have heart disease, you can have kidney disease. What the plan is saying is, if any of these things are related to hypertension, we're not going to cover it, or you're going to wait 24 months before we even touch it. So from age 64, you're kind of screwed, okay? So what a lot of people are doing here is that they will, like, you would sign up for a Medicare Advantage plan, which is like the HMO PPO from the States. And hopefully you know what those are. I don't have time right now to explain the ramification, but they are based on the HMO PPO model for Medicare recipients. They are based on your state where you live in the US. And if you are an expat here, you should always have an address, physical address in the US, whether it's your child, your uncle, your cousin, doesn't matter. Medicare needs to know that you have an address in the US. And based on that address, certain plans cover based on the state. Not all plans are available nationwide. So when you go to Medicare.gov and you say Florida, it will tell you which plans offer Medicare Advantage programs, right? And then you sign up for one of those plans. Now the Medicare Advantage plan by law, up to now, it might change, as you know, it says they should cover you wherever you are in the world in an emergency. If you fall, you have a heart attack, you have a stroke, those are considered emergency, they'll cover you. What we find out in Panama is that a lot of the hospitals, when you go to those hospitals, they want to have your credit card, they charge you, and then they say, okay, if you have a Medicare Advantage plan, then we'll help you with the claim. Then it's up to you to get paid from your plan, your Medicare Advantage plan. Well, now the lady named Jackie from Bukete, she's been here a long time and she's kind of a pioneer. And she says she's been working with some companies. Ooh, look at this soup, you guys. Oh my God. She's been working with some companies to, and the hospitals here, to say, there's so many of us here. Wow. There's so many of us here why do you want to charge us first? And then she said she found a company who's going to, oh, chickpeas. I forgot the chickpeas. She's working with a company that is going to do the billing for the Medicare Advantage plans. I don't have the details, and I haven't been able to find somebody to tell me, oh yeah, I use my Medicare Advantage plans here in Panama, and I submitted my claim, and I got paid right away. Or they bill, you know, the hospital or that company bill the plan directly. Therefore, I don't have to pay out of pocket. That's what she talks about, but I haven't spoken to anybody who's actually done it, okay? So I can't tell you that's the plan. But every single year from October 15 to December something, you can switch from a Medicare Advantage, regular Medicare to Medicare Advantage plan. That's where I'm at right now, trying to decide if I want to do that. Because I don't really plan on going back to the state to get treatment for anything. I'm like, if I'm sick, whatever you can do here in Panama, I'm okay with it, okay? But if you're not, if you want to go back to see your doctor, your specialist or whatever, you may consider keeping your Medicare. And if you keep your Medicare, whoo, oh my God, it's so pretty. If you keep your Medicare, then you don't have to worry about it. We're done, you guys. Here it is. This is the soup. You know what I feel like I need in here? I need like a few crabs. Look at that. Now see, this is what I wanted. Even though it is a little bit brothy, but it's got a little bit of body. Wow. That is so cute. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. So let's put that in my pretty plate. Let's plate it. So you do that, and then you're gonna eat that soup throughout the day. It's brothy. Need some shrimp. You got potatoes, carrots. Wow. More shrimp. We are done. We are done. And then I'm going to, oh man, that is so pretty. That is so beautiful. That's what I'm saying, you know? Sometimes I amaze myself. All right, let's. Oh, man, that looks so pretty. You guys just look at that. Look at this beauty. Like hockey. Remember that guy? The crocodile hunter? Oh my God, I was so sad when that man died. I was so sad. All right, I needed to plate the rice. So remember, you can eat this with some bread. It doesn't have to be the rice. It's just that I forgot about the bread. You could have quinoa or any other You can dump the rice inside if you want. I don't like to do that, but let's see. Now, it's got a little bit of a, not a kick, but just that habanero pepper. And I didn't put any chili in it because I think it's enough. I don't think I need more. But look at this broth. This is healing soup. So if you're sick, make some fish soup like that. Coconut milk, you got the broth, you got carrots, you got some peppers. I have chickpeas. Shrimp. Sorry. Looking forward to the cooking class for sure. Madiwa, you need to. Madiwa, you can come get some soup. You know that, right? I know you have the Uber, and I'm so sorry. That's the hard part of it. Look at that. All right, you guys, this is it. Where do you find the Panamanian bread for breakfast? It's so good. Oh, you know, Ray has a bakery. Reba Smith has a bakery. I mean, remember, you're in Panama. Baked good is like a staple. So whatever store you go to, they're gonna have choices of bread, aisle of bread. And they do have loaves. You can buy like Cuban, like bread, French bread. And then they have the sliced thing. They have one brand of a sliced bread that is really, really good. And if you wanted to make some garlic toast, you make that herb oil that I told you about, a little bit of butter if you're into butter, and then some fresh garlic. You use a brush and then bake it. You get garlic toast. Yeah, bread everywhere. You go in the mall, bread everywhere. Empanadas, croissants, things that look like biscuits, but not biscuits. But all right, guys, you're quite welcome. On my way to get a plate. I wish you could, because you know when I cook, I just don't like to just eat the whole thing to myself. All right, guys, keeping on. Remember, get in touch with your emotions. It's okay to feel sad. Just don't stay down too long. And then we brush ourselves off and we keep going, okay? Don't remember the serenity prayer. Latonia, you were here. So good to see you, my dear. Looking forward to seeing you when? In January, I think you said. All right. If you have any questions, remember to watch my video this past week, and I'm going to do another one like on Tuesday. I feel like I need to do more videos because people are just, yeah. Sandra, looking forward to seeing you. Aqua World Traveler, you quite welcome. Thank you for being in the chat. And go try that soup. As you could see, it's not hard. You just have to think ahead. Don't overcook the shrimp. I'm going to be upset. And make sure you get a fish that is kind of meaty, like mahi. Not snapper or flounder. You want a fish that is meaty, that's going to hold itself. I like your day trip shorts. Oh, thank you, Jess. Yeah, I know. I have to I found this store where they sell everything beauty. It's just, I'm talking about cream, lotion, serums, and all kinds of things. I mean, I could spend a lot of time. I think it's like an 8 or 9 minute video because I went through every single aisle to show you guys. Because we got everything here really in Panama. I mean, you do. You do. You just need to be flexible. All right, guys. Hour and 45 minutes. That was a long one. I'm sorry about the the time it took for this pot. So I'm going to get myself another pot that's thinner and cooks faster. All right, guys. So we'll talk about later on for some recipes for Thanksgiving that are not too heavy, you know, that you're not going to feel too guilty. But I am cooking a turkey. You guys going to watch me. I don't know how I'm going to brine that turkey. Oh my God, that's going to be a challenge. All right. Bye, guys. Have a great day. God bless you. Keep the faith. Be encouraged. It is not the end of the world. We are a strong people. We've been through it before, and we will strive again. So don't give up. Don't give up. Hasta luego. Nos vemos. Buen día. Bonjour. Mwah.